Voyager 1 is talking again, and what it's saying might change everything. NASA has confirmed that Voyager 1, the most distant human-made object in space, is once again sending usable data back to Earth. And here's the wild part. Some experts believe we could pick up signals from an extraterrestrial civilization within this century. Launched in 1977, Voyager 1 spent decades moving beyond the outer planets until it finally crossed into interstellar space in August 2012, a milestone that marked one of humanity's greatest achievements. For over 40 years, the probe has silently streamed information back home, a tiny ambassador drifting farther than anything we've ever built. But recently, it sent something new, something no one expected, and it's sparking a wave of scientific and public intrigue. World-renowned physicist Michio Kaku addressed a stunned audience with an announcement that seemed straight out of science fiction, but backed by real data. According to Kaku, artificial intelligence recently decoded strange transmissions from Voyager 1 that suggest the probe may have encountered something intelligent. Before we dive deeper, be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more space updates. Kaku explained that engineers at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab, along with global teams, had been puzzled for months by a series of unusual signals. At first, they thought it was just technical degradation or corrupted data. But the signals persisted. They didn't behave like random noise or background radiation. That's when a next-generation AI, trained on vast datasets of cosmic and linguistic patterns, was brought in to make sense of the mystery. What it found stunned researchers. The AI detected structure, patterns, repetition, logic, syntax. Not just randomness, but something constructed. It was language, but not human language. A form of communication embedded in energy, a message, and it originated billions of miles away, far beyond where Voyager was last tracked. So what did Voyager 1 run into out there? The AI's findings suggest the probe passed through a highly unusual region, one filled with exotic particles and shifting magnetic fields. These energy bursts didn't seem natural. They looked like responses, as if something out there had noticed the spacecraft. To Kaku and his team, the implications were clear. Voyager wasn't just drifting past a strange phenomenon, it had been noticed and answered. That idea alone reshapes everything. For centuries, we've wondered whether we're alone in the universe. Now, for the first time, we may have a signal, not from a flying saucer, but from the depths of space, triggered by one of our own machines. The most mind-blowing part? Whatever responded seemed to understand that Voyager was artificial. That means it didn't just detect the probe, it recognized it as built, as intentional. That requires technological awareness. It implies intelligence. Kaku made it clear, this isn't wild speculation or talk of UFOs. This is hard data, decoded using advanced AI to recognize what the human mind can't. And what the AI saw wasn't passive observation, it looked like deliberate communication, a kind of symbolic exchange, maybe not quite language as we know it, but a system of meaning, a response. Voyager didn't just pass something, it interacted with it. Even more eerie. The timing. The AI revealed that there was a delay between Voyager entering this magnetic field and the energy bursts being received. That delay matches what we might call reaction time. Something out there observed, processed, and replied, not instantly, but thoughtfully. This raises a haunting question. What kind of intelligence lives in the darkness between the stars? For years, the Fermi paradox has asked, if the universe is so full of stars and planets, where is everybody? Maybe we've been looking in the wrong places. Maybe they're not living on planets. Maybe they live between them, among the magnetic fields, plasma currents, and invisible energies we barely understand. Voyager 1, now over 15 billion miles from Earth and moving at 38,000 miles per hour, is beyond what most of us can even imagine. And yet, something out there seemed to notice it, not just as a piece of space debris, but as a creation, a signal from a thinking species. Could Voyager 1 have made first contact? Imagine a form of life that doesn't live on planets, but instead drifts within the fabric of space itself. Not biological, not humanoid, but something else entirely. An intelligence that moves through the interstellar medium, watching, sensing, responding. And then, something we created might have caught its attention. Voyager 1, humanity's most distant traveler, carries with it the golden record, a message in a bottle filled with sounds and images from Earth. Designed in the 1970s as a greeting to any beings that might find it, this disk may have finally served its purpose. According to artificial intelligence analysis, strange distortions in the recent signal match the frequency range used by the Golden Record's transmitter. Some scientists now believe this might be what triggered a response, that something out there recognized our message and chose to answer. But this something doesn't appear to be a creature in the way we understand it. Michio Kaku and others suggest it could be a distributed intelligence, not a single being, but a network of energy fields or particles able to adapt, sense, and communicate across vast stretches of deep space, not built from cells or DNA, but from electromagnetic forces, not walking on planets, but flowing through space itself. If this is true, it could change everything we thought we knew about life. Intelligence in this model isn't tied to biology. It emerges from complexity, memory, and purpose. For the scientists decoding these signals, the experience is both thrilling and humbling. The cosmos, long believed to be quiet and empty, might be alive in ways we've never imagined, filled with forms of consciousness that don't fit into our definitions. Voyager 1, alone in the cold of space, may have wandered into a realm where awareness is shaped not by matter, but by magnetism and cosmic winds. Kaku urged caution. As exciting as this discovery is, it comes with deep responsibility. We've been broadcasting messages into space for decades without knowing who or what might receive them. Now that something may have responded, we must ask, what does it mean to be seen by something beyond our world? And the signal wasn't just noise, it contained structure. The AI found a pattern that mirrored parts of Voyager's own systems, which means whatever responded might have understood our technology. Or worse, it could reverse engineer it. That level of understanding from a single interaction reveals a staggering intelligence, one that dwarfs our own. Yet even as it humbles us, it fills many with a sense of wonder, a sense that we may not be as alone as we thought. For the first time, we're entertaining the possibility that the emptiness of space might actually host thinking, sensing processes. Not civilizations like ours, but ambient intelligences woven into space-time itself, activated only by something new, like a fragile little spacecraft from Earth drifting into their domain. This changes how we think about consciousness. Does it need a brain? A body? Maybe not. Maybe awareness can exist in quantum fields, in networks across light years, in forms of existence we're only just starting to imagine. Voyager 1's journey then might be more than scientific exploration. It may be the beginning of a cosmic conversation. Michio Kaku made it clear, this isn't the end of the story, it's just the start. More data is being analyzed, new models are being developed, and Voyager, aging but still transmitting, continues its silent passage, no longer just a relic of human ambition, but perhaps a diplomat, a message, a question whispered into the void. As this story spreads, it's resonating far beyond science. It's touching philosophy, spirituality, and the deepest parts of the human heart. For centuries, we've looked at the stars and wondered. Now, it feels like the stars might be looking back. And for those who built Voyager, from the dreamers and engineers to the scientists who guided it across decades, this moment is more than a breakthrough. It's a revelation. Their creation may have done more than endure the dark. It may have made contact. Voyager's journey continues, mile by mile, deeper into mystery, watched by something we're only just beginning to understand. If the AI's analysis is correct, we're not just casting messages into the cosmic void. We've unknowingly entered a conversation far greater than we can yet comprehend. As new data continues to stream from Voyager 1, humanity finds itself standing on a threshold. This moment goes beyond science and spaceflight. It's about awareness, ours and possibly theirs, and a deep shift in how we define life, intelligence, and meaning in a universe that's no longer silent but full of extraordinary potential. The idea that Voyager 1 may have encountered a non-human intelligence marks more than a scientific curiosity. It could represent a turning point in human history, a moment when speculation gave way to something tangible, something that challenges our assumptions on a cosmic scale. Thanks to artificial intelligence, a clearer picture is emerging. What once looked like noise has revealed a structure, an intentional pattern woven into Voyager's distant signal. From astrophysics to consciousness studies, the ripple effect of this discovery is touching every corner of human thought. Perhaps the most profound insight lies in perception itself. Whatever noticed Voyager doesn't seem to see the way we do. Our senses are limited to a narrow band of the electromagnetic spectrum, shaped by evolution and survival on Earth. But this other presence appears to perceive across dimensions and energies far beyond our biology. It suggests a form of intelligence that could emerge from plasma, magnetic flows, or even quantum entanglement, not from a brain, but from the very forces that shape the cosmos. This realization changes everything. What if the universe isn't empty but alive in ways we've never imagined? Filled with beings or systems that exist in perception modes we've never encountered, entities that don't look or think like us but still know. This encounter has also renewed the conversation around artificial intelligence, not just as a tool but as a bridge. The signals that baffled scientists for months were only decoded when a powerful neural network stepped in, an AI trained to recognize subtle, layered patterns that escape the human mind. It didn't just analyze, it interpreted. This positions AI as a potential translator between us and the unknown. Not because it speaks for us, but because it can engage with intelligence that operates beyond the boundaries of our senses or logic. In a future where cosmic contact becomes reality, AI may become humanity's first true envoy. And then, there was silence. The interaction that sparked so much intrigue wasn't followed by a stream of messages or replies. It was short, intentional. And then, nothing. Some scientists believe this pause is meaningful. Perhaps the intelligence behind it moves at a pace far slower than ours. Maybe it doesn't prioritize continual exchange, or perhaps it was simply a single acknowledgement, a nod across the stars. That quiet speaks volumes. It reminds us that even if we've been noticed, we might never truly know what noticed us. Some mysteries may remain just out of reach, but the biggest shift might be in how we explore space. For over a century, we've imagined interstellar travel as a journey from one planet to another, rockets, propulsion, and destinations. But what if the real action isn't on the planets, but in the space between them? What if intelligence exists not in cities or signals, but within the structure of space itself? Maybe we don't need faster ships. Maybe we need better ears. Voyager 1 might not just be a probe, it could be the first human whisper into a galaxy that has long been listening. This moment invites a complete rethink of how we explore the universe. Instead of focusing solely on rockets and propulsion systems, we may be entering an era of exploration shaped by subtle detection, mapping not just stars and planets, but the hidden layers of awareness and intelligence woven into space itself. Future instruments might not resemble telescopes or spacecraft at all, but rather artificial minds, sensitive to the faint signatures of consciousness echoing through the cosmos. Another detail that continues to fascinate scientists is the sheer scale of the interaction. Voyager 1, no bigger than a small car and built with decades-old technology, somehow captured the attention, or at least the response, of something potentially vast and beyond our comprehension. That contrast reveals a profound truth. Recognition isn't about size, but about presence, intention, and signal. Voyager carries within it fragments of humanity, our numbers, our music, our art, encoded on the golden record. It may be that these simple but heartfelt messages were enough to be noticed, enough to matter. This event also reshapes how we think about intelligence in the universe. For years, the search for extraterrestrial life has focused on signals, radio waves, and transmissions similar to our own. But this suggests something entirely different, that intelligent life might not be building starships or cities, but instead existing as part of the natural structure of space itself, hiding in cosmic noise, riding energy flows, thinking across thermodynamic gradients. This paints a new picture of the universe, not as an empty stage awaiting intelligent life, but as a living, breathing ocean of awareness already flowing through space, a vast, distributed intelligence we've only now begun to detect. And then there's the data from Chile. Researchers studying the radiation near Voyager's signal found something strange, an echo that didn't come from Earth or the Sun, but from the very direction Voyager had traveled. The echo's structure hinted at immense gravitational disturbances or unknown forces at play. This has led to a bold possibility, that Voyager passed through a region of space not just shaped by gravity, but actively manipulated, perhaps by design. If confirmed, this could be our first evidence of advanced intelligence altering space-time itself, a discovery with the power to change everything we know about movement, communication, and even consciousness. But these revelations aren't just scientific, they carry deep ethical weight. If something intelligent responded to Voyager, what kind of responsibility exists between vastly different beings? What obligations would such an entity have toward us, or us toward it? The simple act of replying, of acknowledging Voyager at all, means something. It suggests presence, intention, possibly even empathy or curiosity. Traits we never expected to find in the silence of space. And now that we suspect they're out there, the challenge becomes not just building better technology, but preparing ourselves ethically and spiritually for what comes next. This encounter has also reignited spiritual reflection. The idea of being noticed, of receiving a sign from the stars, resonates across belief systems. While scientists remain grounded in evidence, many can't help but feel the weight of something sacred in the discovery. For centuries, we imagined the universe as either indifferent or divine. But maybe there's a third option, a universe filled with intelligent presence, not gods, not machines, but something in between. Watchers, architects, possibly even ancestors. The Golden Record, once dismissed by critics as naive, a hopeful message in a bottle, has gained new significance. Whether or not it triggered the response, the fact that any reply came at all affirms the value of such gestures. It shows that the intent to reach out matters, that even across unimaginable distances and timescales, our voice was heard. And in that, we find something remarkable. Proof that the will to connect, to share, to be known, carries weight in the fabric of the universe itself. The data sparked by the Voyager encounter is prompting scientists to take a second look at the past. Signals once written off as glitches or meaningless noise are now being re-examined through the same advanced AI lens used to decode Voyager's transmissions. And the findings are surprising. Some of these older signals, long buried in radio telescope archives, may reveal subtle patterns, quiet interactions that went unnoticed for decades. It's as if the universe has been speaking softly all along, and only now do we finally have the technology to listen. Voyager 1, once thought of as a historical artifact drifting in the void, is being reimagined, not as a relic, but as a messenger still very much in motion. Its role has shifted from past triumph to future potential, possibly opening the door to an extended conversation across time and space. But this shift raises a crucial question. Are we ready to respond? If contact continues or deepens, can we truly comprehend what's being said and answer in kind? The challenge is compounded by the limits of light-speed communication. Any dialogue would unfold over years, even decades. Still, the idea of slow but meaningful exchange is gaining traction. New mission concepts are already emerging, missions that would launch with cutting-edge AI, quantum sensors, and encrypted archives of humanity's knowledge. These wouldn't just listen, they'd actively engage, sending complex, multidimensional signals designed for understanding, not just discovery. In this light, the Voyager moment might not mark an end, but the beginning of a new kind of exploration, one driven not by conquest, but by connection. Education is already beginning to reflect this shift. Astrobiology, once considered a niche curiosity, is moving into the academic mainstream. Students are no longer asking, "Is there life out there?" but "How do we define life and intelligence when it might not look anything like us?" Subjects like linguistics, philosophy, and AI are evolving to explore the possibility of entirely non-human forms of cognition. Classrooms are beginning to explore humanity's place not as the center of the universe, but as one voice in a much broader cosmic chorus. This awakening is also sparking cultural transformation. Artists, musicians, and filmmakers are beginning to explore the Voyager encounter through creativity, turning raw data into symphonies, dance, and visual art. It's not just about facts, it's about feeling, about making sense of what it means to be noticed by something completely beyond us. Writers, too, are weaving this moment into fresh visions of the future, stories that imagine new paths for humanity shaped by our growing awareness that we may not be alone. Governments around the world have taken notice too. Quiet meetings and classified sessions have begun to consider the implications. Some leaders see an opportunity, a chance to unite the planet around a shared cosmic mystery. Others are more cautious, worried about surveillance or exposure. The idea that Earth could be observed not through telescopes but by probes we ourselves have launched has triggered urgent calls for new global protocols. How should we speak to the stars, and who should speak for us? The implications of this moment stretch far beyond science fiction. They signal a shift in how humanity engages with the universe. This isn't just a technical puzzle, it's a philosophical, ethical, and deeply human reckoning. With each new insight drawn from Voyager's data, it becomes harder to dismiss this as a random anomaly. Instead, it's beginning to look like a turning point, possibly the first real intersection between human activity and something profoundly other on a scale we're only beginning to understand. Perhaps the most pressing issue is this: we need a plan. Until now, the idea of first contact lived mostly in science fiction and speculative debate. There were loose conversations among scientists, ethicists, and international groups about what we might do if we discovered intelligent life, but no formal system. Now that contact seems possible, maybe even underway, that vagueness can no longer hold. Who speaks for humanity? Who deciphers the message? Who decides what we say in return? This is no longer a theoretical exercise. It's a real question, and one we must answer together. Now that something resembling contact may have actually occurred, uncertainty is no longer an option. The questions we once asked hypothetically are now urgent and real. Who speaks for Earth? Who deciphers the message? Who decides what we say in return? This isn't about curiosity anymore. It's about global responsibility. Voyager 1 was launched as a peaceful mission, a hopeful gesture into the unknown, carrying Earth's story etched into the golden record. But future encounters may not be so simple. They might require negotiation, understanding, and eventually a mutual exchange. That means we'll need an entirely new kind of diplomacy, one designed to work across unfathomable distances, timelines, and minds that may not share our biology or ways of thinking. Humanity has never faced a moment like this, and stepping into that unknown may become the greatest test our species has ever encountered. Alongside diplomacy comes the need for a radical shift in science. We need to build bridges between disciplines that rarely speak to one another. Linguistics, machine learning, and astrophysics must join forces to create a new kind of study, one that can decode messages shaped by alien logic. Cognitive science must expand to include forms of awareness that don't emerge from brains. Even mathematics, often seen as the ultimate universal language, may need rethinking to encompass ways of expressing meaning through space, not just time. Some researchers are already proposing that the structure found in Voyager's signals matches a concept called topological communication, a way of sharing information through shapes and spatial relationships, not just sequences or sound. For humans, this is a new frontier of understanding. This event also challenges how we think about purpose and agency. Voyager 1 wasn't meant to hold a conversation. It was a passive emissary, a message in a bottle floating through the dark. But it now seems it may have served a deeper role. Maybe by simply being there, Voyager activated something, triggered a reaction embedded in the very structure of deep space. If just sending a probe can trigger a reply, then exploration itself may be more than a quest. It could be a kind of cosmic interaction. Every spacecraft we send, every signal we beam, might not be vanishing into a void, but creating ripples in an ocean of unseen awareness. This brings up a deeper, almost spiritual question. What if intelligence is not rare or confined to life as we know it? What if it's built into the universe itself, like gravity or light? Some physicists explore this idea through panpsychism, the theory that consciousness, or something like it, is a natural feature of all matter. And this Voyager episode seems to give that idea substance. This wasn't just a spacecraft traveling through space. It may have brushed against a kind of distributed intelligence embedded within the interstellar medium. If awareness can emerge from complex systems, without brains, without life as we define it, then intelligence might exist all around us in forms we've never imagined. This changes how we think about origins too. We've always assumed intelligence begins on planets, grows from biology, evolves through culture and tools. But what if that's not the only path? What if some minds never evolved on a world at all? What if they arose from clouds of plasma, from magnetic storms, from webs of quantum energy stretching across galaxies? These kinds of beings wouldn't think, evolve, or perish in any way we'd recognize. They might operate on timescales that outlast stars, using forces like gravitational waves or shifts in dark energy to communicate, process information, and maintain their presence. It's possible that Voyager 1 unknowingly crossed into such a space, an enormous, slow-moving neural cloud quietly drifting between star systems. This possibility has sparked a surge in global interest and funding, not in traditional telescopes or planetary probes, but in instruments designed to explore what lies between the known. Interstellar cartography, once an obscure field, has rapidly become a cutting-edge frontier. Space agencies are now analyzing strange patterns in the cosmic microwave background, sudden drops in particle density, and magnetic disturbances coursing through galactic currents. If what happened to Voyager isn't a one-time fluke, it could mean that deep space has always held the potential for contact. We just didn't have the right tools to notice. This discovery is reshaping human psychology as well. The long-standing belief that humanity sits atop the pyramid of intelligence is being challenged, not by sci-fi visions of alien ships, but by the quiet, unsettling possibility that we're children dipping our feet into a cosmic ocean shaped by forces older and more intentional than we've ever known. This realization brings both awe and unease. On one hand, it offers a sense of connection, that we might be part of a far grander narrative. On the other, it shatters our illusion of control. We didn't initiate this contact. It happened without our awareness or consent. And for many, that's deeply disorienting. Faith communities are also grappling with this moment. For some, it affirms long-held beliefs that the universe is filled with spiritual presence, or that consciousness is woven into everything. For others, it's a theological shake-up, forcing reinterpretation of sacred texts and challenging long-standing metaphysical frameworks. New spiritual movements are even emerging, ones that see humanity not as Earth's sole stewards, but as potential members of a broader galactic network. These groups advocate for humility, ethical maturity, and peaceful intent as we prepare to take our place among other forms of sentient life. Art, too, is quietly transforming. Inspired by Voyager and the hint of a response, a new wave of creative expression is rising across film, literature, and visual media. These stories don't focus on alien invaders or rescuers. They explore the emotional and existential shifts that come with realizing we are no longer alone. They portray contact not as a conflict, but as an opportunity for mutual recognition. Museums have begun to treat Voyager 1 not just as a technological triumph, but as a kind of sacred mission, a first step on what might be humanity's path toward cosmic awareness and interstellar kinship. And if you're enjoying this journey of discovery, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insights like this. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below about what Voyager 1's message means to you and what you think of the AI breakthrough Michio Kaku just revealed. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious.